to the Commute. I'm checking the speaker. Yep. I'm Shannon.
I'm Andrew.
Is your hair okay?
I feel like I need a haircut. It's getting a little too long.
Getting a little long?
Yeah.
I feel like I should just need to wash my hair at some point today.
Probably a good idea.
Or shower in general. So it's a Friday and we're commuting to our Southland flip down in Eatonton.
That's more miles on the car.
Well, one day we'll have the Lexus, or not Lexus, what are you getting again?
Tesla.
I need to go get a smoother,
One day we will.
quieter
This whole wee nonsense.
I like this wee stuff. So, today, Andrew's topic.
Sustainable success in real estate. Sustainable success.
Sustainable. And it's going to rain. It's going to make so much noise.
It'll be great. It'll be like people when they're going to sleep listening to our podcast. It'll be that.
What are all these bugs? Because this is the second one now. Oh, he went down. That I've let out of your car.
I don't know. Interesting. Probably from all the trash in here,
That's definite. Okay, so what is sustainable success? Or like how do we create?
How do you achieve it? What are the things you put in place to do it? Right? Like I think we talk about all the time how to get off the roller coaster of real estate where you're sold 4 houses in a month, don't sell for 2 months, sell 3 houses, don't sell. And so doing that and like
it's not sustainable.
No. Because it's stressful, it's anxiety driven because they're like, oh man, I made a lot of money. Okay, now I haven't made any money for 2 months. So it's just like you can get to that point where you're selling 3 homes a month consistently, or 2 homes a month even. It's better than 4, none, 4, none.
Right.
So I think that's kind of the driver behind that.
I also think it's doing the daily, which we talk about a lot as well. So just from an agent perspective, I would say having the consistency is number one. Like consistency in your dials, consistency in conversations, appointments. Once you are consistent and do not let under contracts and closings get in the way, then you immediately are more consistent and then it's more sustainable. But the second part of it is budgeting.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to budget if you have a 9-to-5 job, 40 hours a week, or whatever it is. Gosh, 30 hours a week, whatever. You know you're getting X number of dollars, and it's easier for you to budget.
Right.
So what we try to teach in real estate is your first couple of transactions, take no income. Start your business account, and then allow your business account to pay you a monthly salary. Because if you can build that, even if it's only $15,000, $20,000 in your business account, and then start paying yourself that third month, $5,000 a month, then give yourself a pay raise. Reading Profit First would be really good.
Yeah.
And then just set your accounts up the way he kind of explains in the book. Very, very, very smart.
Yeah.
For new agents.
For any type of sales, probably, really.
Yes. Well, and I say for new agents, but start out that way, and then it's going to be much easier in the future.
Yeah. Sure.
And then you've got to treat it like a business. You can't steal from your business.
Yeah.
Right? So you can only pay yourself if you're working. So if you set up your accounts correctly, your bank accounts, and then stay consistent in your day-to-day task, those are the 2 main things to create sustainable success. That's a big word, sustainable. And then it goes in, then I think you could go into like marketing and staying in touch with people and your referral business and all of that. But
well, and I think too, just a mindset shift of, I think agents, especially new agents, are like, okay, I gotta take care of my under contracts or my people that are about to be under contract because like that's money, right? Like that in their head, they're like, okay, that's a paycheck, right? And it's so easy to do, and it's hard to say don't do that to new agents who haven't made any money in 3 months. You know what I mean?
I don't find it hard to say it, but I mean,
it's hard. Like, so if I put myself in their shoes, it's like, especially for your younger ages, 24, don't have any really money, never really made that much money, and they're just piling up credit card debt. It's hard for them, I guess, to look at it and be like, okay, I just need to wait, which is just kind of like I kind of get it, but
So
It
maybe
isn't-
that's on the interview end, like at the very beginning,
Yeah.
kind of reminding them, hey, if you're going to do real estate full time, you need to have a good 3 to 6 months
Yeah.
worth of what you need to live on in the bank
Yep.
before jumping into real estate full time.
Yep. Yeah, because it is important. Like, unless you're gonna work 80 hours a week and do 2 full-time jobs, and because that's kind of what you'd have to do both of them effectively.
And we've had people that do that.
Yeah.
But
So-
then you just have a different type of work ethic where they're like, no.
Yeah, I mean, because people look at. Anyways, people look at real estate. They get into it, like the vast majority of them, because it's flexible. I can work it around my schedule, and I can and for those people, you're never going to build a sustainable. I need to find a different word. You're never going to build a consistent business.
Right.
You just won't, because if you're like, I'm here for the flexibility, then your focus isn't real estate anyways.
Yep.
So it's a hobby, it's
Right.
a part-time job.
Yep.
So to any of the people who say that, it's like, well, that's not like you're not being truthful to yourself
Right.
about any of it. So
Yep.
it's kind of just, it's more for your agents. Like Christy for us is a good example, right? Like
Yep.
she's the perfect model of consistency, especially
Yep.
the last year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, literally. Comes in every single day. She works her business like a business.
Right.
So she is in the office every day, unless she is at an appointment.
Yeah.
And she is making her calls.
Or she'll
She
take
is-
a personal day, and that's
Yep.
and that's fine. Like, right? Everyone needs a personal day.
And even that, she doesn't probably do it enough.
No.
I mean,
Me neither, man.
whatever.
I haven't taken you know what I was thinking the other day?
Oh my gosh, it's the same thing Mark said last night.
I don't think I've taken a sick day since I started.
Mark literally said this yesterday.
I don't think think
I
about it though.
haven't taken a day off at all. And
Think-
I'm like, you get Saturday and Sunday off. And he's like, no, really? Then I have to work around the house. Like, I haven't taken a day off work.
Think about it though. Is he wrong?
So what?
I'm just saying, is he wrong?
I just don't even see what it matters. Guess what? That's life.
I'm just saying. I was just thinking about it the other day. That's tough. That's a tough crowd around here for me and Mark. I need to call him. Mark, I'm on your side.
So also,
It's a little outside.
also sustainable success. One thing that I've learned just in the last 2 years is I would venture to say 80% of all real estate agents have no exit plan.
Yeah.
So it's sell, sell, sell.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell till I'm 80, or I don't know what happens when I can't sell anymore.
Yeah.
And to me, that is insane.
Yeah.
So as a real estate agent, not only should you be thinking about like setting up a SEP or a type of 401k for yourself, but you should also have an exit plan of how are you going to retire?
Yeah.
Because sustainable success goes through retirement. Right? So
Yeah.
obviously we talk about passive income, buying real estate, flipping properties. So we talk about more stuff than just selling real estate for our agents. But if you're just going to sell real estate, totally fine. You have to have a book of business to sell. You have to have an agent that you're going to bring alongside you, and they're going to take over your business and continue to pay you a percentage of it.
Right.
Like, you've got to have an exit plan. Otherwise, you are 80 years old still trying to sell real estate and probably not doing the best that you should, because you like to travel and have vacation, 80% of the year. So I think part of sustainable success is thinking about the exit plan.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would say start thinking about it at 20. If you're getting into real estate when you're young, you need to start thinking about it immediately. And I
Yeah.
get that can be overwhelming and it's a lot, or I'm so young, I don't need to worry about that. I'll worry about that in 5-10 years. But you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So just start it early, and if you hate real estate and you get out of it in 5 or 10, then at least you're going to have a great savings account.
Yeah.
And if you've done decent, you're going to be able to have something to sell.
Right.
Because we'll buy people's book of business all day long.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's another, I think, aspect of the success, long-term success, that people don't think about.
Yeah, well, and I think it's always crazy to me, people who've been in real estate so long and like the only thing they do is sell.
Yeah.
That's always crazy. Like, to actually, because if you think about, I'm an actual like professional in the industry, and you don't also buy, rent, flip real estate, then you don't even believe in the product that you're selling,
right?
Because you don't believe in the equity and the growth, and like, so that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't know. Or people don't budget their money and they don't have money. They don't have money to do it. But
yeah, some people, I really think it is a fund issue. Like, they don't have the funds, but some people, I'm always shocked. Like, they have skill, they have talent for it, and then they
don't have the drive for it.
Yeah, and I'm like, ugh, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And I love my clients. I do not want to be selling real estate in my 60s.
Yeah.
I just don't. And maybe that is just me. Maybe people just enjoy it so much that is something they want to do until they can't do it anymore. But you still need an exit plan.
Right.
Like, it's foolish to just leave nothing behind. Because
what is your hope if you're an agent that doesn't have any type of retirement plan or exit plan? You're just hoping, okay, I'll sell enough till I have cash in the bank,
maybe,
to retire on.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, I don't know the thought process with that. Okay, so we talked about like the consistency, the bank accounts. We kind of touched a little bit on the marketing, but I don't think we did enough of that. So like staying in touch with your clients, keeping a good brand, keeping your name good in the industry. I think all that impacts your sustainable success as well. But I think staying in touch correctly. So a lot of agents, they just want to put their past clients and their sphere on a drip campaign and email.
Yeah.
And maybe mail a Christmas card.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that will not work. You've got to make the phone calls.
Yeah.
I was a Keller Williams agent when I got started, and Keller Williams has some great plans. Their models, the things that they have are really wise. They're just built out of wisdom. I love it. Like The Millionaire Real Estate Agent is a great book. It really talks about leveraging your business, going from step 1 to retirement.
Yeah.
But the other thing that they taught was and I know you guys don't like this, the 33 touches a year. So you're supposed to touch your clients 33 times in a year. And that's obviously the 12 mailings, obviously the 12 emails, but then there's also the phone calls and the text messages, and more modern is the social media impact.
Yeah.
So you've really got to be in front of your past clients. Just because they used you does not mean they're going to continue to use you.
Right.
And you could have done everything perfect.
Yeah.
It's just they interact with so many people on the regular.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be in church and meet a new agent and be like, oh, you know what? I haven't even heard from my agent. I'll use you.
Yeah.
I'm ready to sell.
Yeah.
So that staying in touch is so important.
Yeah.
So that would have been the third part, and then retirement. Is there anything else for sustainable success?
Probably not. I think you were saying like staying top of mind for them is probably the most important. From their past close, or just from even your current, like, people that you think are going to buy with you, or current
I don't know what it is.
Current clients. I think it's probably that cup and the other cup holder there. But because people will, like, the saying, buyers are liars, sellers are worse. Like, they can act like they're committed to you all day long, but all it takes is one chance encounter, and I'll give you a shot. Yeah, you're a nice guy.
Yep.
Sure. Or they're trying to help someone out because they're like, oh, I'm new in the industry, and they have this mindset of, oh, I'll just help them out, because in all reality, those people think that the real estate job is easy. Right, which is just another kind of a different lane that we could go down. But
so even like the way you communicate through the buyer side when you're selling someone a house, helping them buy.
Yeah.
Like, we just had this with James. We have this program that like goes through our database and our past clients and basically tells us if they've used somebody else to sell or buy more properties. And one of James's clients came back and said, oh, I didn't. They said, oh yeah, we sold that house. we've moved out of state or whatever it was. But we didn't think that you were a listing agent. We thought that you were only a buyer's agent.
Oh, goodness.
And James was like, what did I do wrong? And I'm like, you didn't stay in touch communicating.
Yeah.
That you handle all aspects of real estate.
Right.
The best time to ask a buyer after they've closed if they need to sell is after 6 months. 6 months. And most people aren't.
Right.
But now you've put that's one of your touches, right?
Put
You've
that seed
now
in their
said,
head.
hey, well, when you're ready, let me know. Why in the heck would I want to sell my house? I just bought it. Things happen all the time.
Yeah.
We found out, clients get in a home and now they have to move for work.
Yeah.
So we just always like to communicate that we handle both sides of the transaction. If you didn't remember from when we worked together, blah, blah, you just have to have those conversations.
Yeah.
The best time to ask somebody if they're ready to buy their next house is at the closing table.
Next investment house.
Yeah, because even though this is a primary, if you don't even put into their heads that they could also be an investor, you're missing a perfect opportunity, especially if the transaction went well.
Yeah.
Now, if it went poorly, you probably don't want to say you're ready to buy another house.
Yeah. Well, I guess that kind of, though, leads to your next one is like you have to constantly be doing a good enough job where they're going to give you the referrals, but also asking.
Yep.
Which I do a poor job of.
Yep.
Because I do a poor job of like pushing my personal business because I feel like it's too salesy for me. You know what I mean? But I have to figure out a way that I can do it where it's natural for me to do.
We when I was on a team and I was a buyer's agent, we were always challenged. So it was, hey, my team lead is making us do this challenge and I've got to get 5 referrals in the next month. If you know of anybody, will you think of me? Do you have someone right now? And more almost like I got to do this for someone else. Because that was my personality too. I'm not salesy at all.
Yep.
For me, sales is tough. Like I don't like sales. Now, if you decide you're going to trust me, you won't find a better negotiator.
Right.
So for me, it's like once we're in the relationship, I'm good. But that whole you should use me, I'm great. I have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
Easy to sell everybody else on my team. That I can do that. That's easy.
Yeah.
I love selling the team because I know like which ones are really good at different things. So yeah, staying in touch is definitely easier for me too because I genuinely care. So it's not like I'm calling asking for business every time. So that's another easy aspect. And then asking for the referral. If there's a reason or something behind it, I can do it. But yeah, just to sell myself.
It's tough.
Yeah. Didn't you love working with me?
Yeah.
Will you give me a referral, please? So, what else would be?
I think that, for your real estate business, like for someone that's an individual agent trying to establish their business, right? Because that's really what you're doing, and having consistency. I think those are your main things. You need consistent prospecting, right? Like always.
Yep.
Never ending, consistent dials, conversations, appointments.
Yep.
Because that's the only way that you're going to have consistent closings. Because you can't really ever count on their referrals. It's great when you get them.
Yep.
But what happens when you go 6 months and none of your people have people they're sending you?
Well, and I think for new agents, they watch all this crap on social media and listen to all these, people that have been in the business for like 15, 20 years. And they talk about like, I don't pay for leads, blah, 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 blah.
I haven't made a cold call in 6 years.
I never do cold calls. I've never door knocked, blah, 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 blah. Okay, 1, where's the person from? 2, how long have they been in the business? 3, how did they start?
Right.
Because if they were on a team, dang right, they didn't pay for anything.
Right.
And now they were able to build their business from that team.
Right.
So you really have to look at the full picture. Do not just take something, not that they're lying, because in a lot of cases, if I were just doing sales again, I would not pay for a single lead. I wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
My database alone last year, I think we were able to close like 30. Right. And as an individual agent, all I have to close is 2 a month.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, I get that, but I would also never promote that to agents, because that took me 20 years to build.
Right.
I got my start from a team. Then I continued to build by spending money. I was spending, I think, $2,000 a month when I did not have $2,000 a month for leads. So just agents need to not listen to the hoopla that they hear.
Well, I mean,
or question it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just shouldn't believe everything you see on the internet.
Really?
It's that common issue that people
Why?
seem to continue to have. So what about though a team? Because I feel like people start teams or brokerages, and they're kind of one and the same, right? And then they flop in 6 months to a year.
Yeah, I don't think they're one and the same, just simply because a team costs so much more money out of pocket if you do it right. I shouldn't even say that, because I know there are quote unquote teams that don't spend a dime.
Right, they don't spend any money. They spend all their lead resources are are referral fee based. All their they don't really, their only really person they have hired is a closing coordinator, but they are paid out of the agents per transaction. So there are some teams that don't pay. They don't have any really out of pocket costs other than building. So and so that's the same thing with brokerages. So I think a lot of I think your team versus a lot of teams aren't, especially in our market, aren't the same.
Yeah, true. It's hard for me to think about how these other teams are operating too.
Yeah.
Also, most teams just want agents on their team to make money off the agents. They're not actually growing the agents to be business leaders.
Right.
And I think that's something that I've always done. Just because of how I was when I was on a team, I didn't like that no one prepped me to actually run my real estate business like a business.
Yeah.
So, I think, we just offer something different. So let me try to figure it out from a normal team perspective.
Yeah.
So the sustainability of a team.
You really have to spend money, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. Even these little brokerages that pop up, and again, we were a little brokerage that popped up. I'm not slamming small brokerages or boutique brokerages. I think that all that really starts with your mission statement.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm trying to think, you know what? That's a good homework item for me. I need to look at these small boutique brokerages. I need to look at their mission statements and see if they're actually living out their mission statement.
Yeah.
Because maybe that's the reason they fail.
Could be.
But I think it's also they don't have enough money to do it, and they don't have enough buy-in from their agents.
And what was the reason they started? I think anyone that says the only reason I started was because I was giving my broker too much money, I think those, if that's the main reason you start, I don't think those are ever going to work out. I think if, yes, I'm giving my broker this much money, but I've always been a good leader. I've always thought that I could build something, I've proven that I could build something and scale it, right? And I feel like I can do this job better than this current broker is doing. I think those are the people that can be successful. I think people who are me and my team, we gave $250,000 to the broker, and I just didn't want to do that anymore. All right, okay, great. That's fine. Who's going to lead your business now that you're the broker?
Right.
You're complaining about this broker who doesn't do anything for you. What are you going to do for people that come to your brokerage then?
Right.
How are you going to be different? And if you don't know that, and you don't understand, that's what people are going to think about you and look at you the same way, then it's never going to be anything you can do.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of why then, because then usually those people don't handle confrontation well. And so then when they get dealt with confrontation, they're like, F this, I just want to fold up and go sell houses again.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think, so if I think back to why I started the team, it was out of necessity, right? It was, I have all these leads. My broker at the time was like, hey, an agent came to me and she was like, what are you doing? How are you getting so many closings? And I said, I got all these leads and you want to help me? You want to take some of them? And then my broker was like, why don't you start a team? And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I was on a team, but I don't know how to do it. So they just kind of said, you just do it. You just go to the board and sign up as a team and you just do it. And I'm like, what? Okay, whatever. So that's literally why I started the team. Too many leads, needed help. And then that just grew easily enough that people were like, you're really good with people. You're a good leader. You should do more of this. Da, 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 da. And then it was join Women's Council. And then it was, now you're the president of this organization. And then it just skyrocketed from there, right?
Yeah.
But then when we were at our last brokerage, I actually went to them because our team was paying so much money, and I didn't utilize anything at the brokerage. Right, other than their compliance and their accounts payable person, which I had to because I wasn't the broker. So then I went to them and said, hey, we're paying a lot of money, plus all the overhead. Like, can you like cut a break to our team on the cap side? And he agreed. So we reduced our cap and then stayed another year, but we grew. We almost doubled. And I was like, okay, now what? Because I'm still spending all this money and I'm still not utilizing the broker at all. We would attend 2 parties a year, which I know cost him money. Use their broker, like their compliance and their accounts payable. That was it. So it just didn't make sense when you looked at everything. Our structure was already in place.
But that's what I'm saying is where your team is different. You already were hiring staff to eventually own a brokerage, whether you knew it or not.
And definitely
whether
was
you knew
not
it or not,
the plan.
You were staffing at a rate where we can handle owning the brokerage already. So it doesn't make fiscal sense to not do it, because it wouldn't be any more than what you're currently doing, not really, or a little more, but it's not that much more.
No, but and I think also like with that, it was strictly a business decision. Because to this day, my last broker, I mean, I hate that he ended up hating me, which I think we're all cool now, but it was never personal. I love that owner. I love that broker. So for me, it was only a business decision. So
and I think the right one.
Definitely, I mean, it's
the right one.
Definitely been the right one.
So I think it's.
But sustaining the brokerage?
It's the same thing as agents. It's just instead of those calls to prospects for buying and selling, it has to be calls to prospects for.
But I think that's to agents, for recruits. But I think that's only also if you want to grow.
But you have to recruit, because you're going to deal with people leaving, right? So like there has to be a natural, is really what your best retention rate is going to be 80% ish, maybe 90 if you're small. If you're like 15 agents, eventually you're going to lose some of those agents. So you're going to have to do some level of recruiting.
I think that actually is probably the issue of how we grew so much, because we didn't do recruiting. The agents started recruiting, and then we got so big that we needed more staff, and then we got to a position, well, now we need to recruit because we've got this overhead, and then you lose some people, and now you're like, well, crud. And it's like this hamster wheel of like, So I guess you're right. So sustainable success for the brokerage is that you are constantly
for
recruiting.
ours anyways now.
But like, what if because even if you want to stay small though, like if you want to stay small, you're still going to lose people.
If you have 20 agents, odds are by the end of the year you're going to lose at least 2 of them, if not 4, right? So then to replace that cap, to replace that monthly cost, so you can still pay all your bills, you need to recruit 2 to 4, right? Even if you don't want to deal with 50 agents, you still have to or it's going to go from 20 to 16, 16 to 12, 12 to 8, and then you're done. Right? Like that's just going to be the
Well, I have a good friend, Cindy. Shout out to Cindy. She owns a brokerage, and it's just her and a partner.
Well, that's I think a little different now.
So I think, but what we said at the beginning, you have to decide what your mission statement is. Like, why are you starting a brokerage? For her, sorry, Jordan, that slap was me killing a bug. For her, it was, I primarily do builder listings. That's my business. Not really going to stray much from it. I might take some listings and buyers here and there. The primary business that I do is new construction. So therefore, it doesn't make sense to pay a broker all that money, quote unquote, when again, you are doing something that is so repetitive, you don't necessarily need it.
And she has her process down, and that's all she really needs.
So again, it does, now sustainable on that, you lose a builder, you lose half of your business, right? And she knows that. But again, boutique, just her and a partner, really no overhead. keeps things pretty, like, you can afford to lose a builder, maybe
Yeah.
then have to get some listings and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just, you got to know your strengths, you got to know what your plan is,
Yeah.
and you've got to be wise about it. There's definitely been times I have not been wise, and I just think most recently, like, we set out back in, well, I guess last year, October of last year, and we set out to grow, to have substantial growth. So we hired for substantial growth.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, I expect a lot out of the staff because your employment was based on growth,
Right.
which means you have to help grow.
Right.
And we've talked about that before. That's a whole other conversation. But like in a small business, you wear multiple hats. I don't care what your technical position is. You are going to do multiple things.
Yeah. Well, you have to.
Yeah.
You kind of have to do whatever is required.
Yep. No
Until
matter
you
if
get to a
like
point.
it or not.
Until you get to a point where you're making enough money to hire it out.
Right.
You just kind of have to suck it up and do it.
Yep. Definitely. So, anyways, I think that's good on sustainable success. If you have questions, always send them to us, comments, anything you want to know about real estate, let us know. Otherwise, we're just pulling these topics out of thin air.
ChatGPT.
Or waking up at 3 a.m. and being like, oh, I got an idea. So,
Those are great ones.
it's great when Mark is out of town. I told him this last night because when I wake up and he's not there, I'll say, hey Siri, blah, 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 whatever's on my mind. Set a reminder, and so that happens. Well, when Mark's in town, I feel like, oh, I can't do that because I'll wake him up if he hears
when
me
he's
just
in town, like he's out of town
when he's in
50%
town.
of the time.
Well, he's only out of town like 1 week a month, but still, it's enough that I'm like, I get in the habit when he's not there. So last night I thought of something and I was like, he was still awake, so I was like, hey Siri, da 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 da, set a reminder, 9 o'clock, blah blah. And then he was like, huh? And I was like, yeah, I do that all the time when you're not here. It's so much easier.
Yeah,
I said, but when you're here at 2 a.m. and I get up to pee, then I also have to like pick up my phone and put my notes in that I've been thinking about. So yeah. All right, we're done. What do you have to say?
Follow us at the commute.pod on Instagram, the Commute Pod on YouTube, and that's it.
And
Spotify, Apple Music.
I don't know it, any of it.
Listen to it, download it, undownload it, and re-download it.
Is that good?
Yeah, it means it counts as twice.
All right.
Jackie, that's your job.
The Commute is out.